Hi everyone, my name is Piterpakulski. Today we will continue building financial model for a rent calculator, and today we'll be talking about fixed expenses. The interesting thing about fixed expenses is that they are called fixed, but they may also have some seasonality. So for example, they are fixed, but for example, these expenses occur every quarter or every 4 months, every March or every April and June and so on. So they are fixed, but they do have some algorithms, and it's very interesting to put all these algorithms inside your financial model, and this video will be devoted to this exercise. So maybe this video will be useful for you. You may give us a like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. You can also order financial models from scratch for your unique business ideas. We can help you with that. So now let's start working with fixed expenses. So let's create a new block of inputs, fixed expenses, fixed cost item, so let's, for example, say that we have 10 fixed cost articles, and here we will place here the months from January to December till December. So this will be a typical year. So this is the typical year. So this will be the area for inputs, that's why I will be coloring this area with blue, because blue is the unique color for all our inputs. So these are the inputs. So all other cells are automized. So we put the data only in blue cells. So for example, what can business have? For example, this article, the expenses are just $300 each month. So this expense item has this algorithm. This expense item, we pay $500 each quarter. This, for example, fixed expense item occurs only in summer month. So these expenses are fixed, but they do have some algorithms. Then for example, this expense article occurs for example $200 here, 550 here, then $200 here. So it is a it has an algorithm like this, and for example in October you'll be paying $700. So this direct expense, this fixed cost may have some so we will have these expenses in winter months, for example. So despite of these articles being fixed, in reality they have some algorithms, and we have to take these algorithms into consideration when we are building a financial model. So for example, and these expenses, for example, are stable. So let's assume that. Then we can also add on-off coefficient for this or that fixed expense item. Then local coefficient, and we are adding also global coefficient. So we are adding data validation list. So we are taking the data from here, so these are the inputs. I'm coloring it with blue. Then if this equals to this, we are picking 1, otherwise 0. Then we create a local coefficient for this article to make us be able to play with scenarios later. So this will be local coefficient, and here we will create a global coefficient. So we've created the algorithm for payments. Now it's time for us to automate this story. So I'm copying this table. I will take months from here. So fixed expenses plus coefficient. I will pick the list of fixed cost items from the previous table of inputs. Then what's next? What is next? The next step, I will be picking these values, then I will multiply it on this, freezing the column. Then I will multiply on this coefficient and multiply on this coefficient. Here I will freeze column and row and line. Then I press enter, and now all coefficients have been added. So for example, if I want to switch off these fixed cost expenses, I will get here zeros. If I don't want completely switch off these expenses, but I want to take just the half of it, I can do this. Or I can triple the level of these expenses. Or I can decrease all of fixed expenses on half. Or I can increase them twice very quickly without working with all these inputs. So this is very valuable story for your future scenario analysis when you will see the cash flow statement, simple, discounted payback period, internal rate of return values, and so on. So what's next? Then we need to put all these values inside the timeline. So for that purpose we will make some preparational step. So fixed expenses, here I will put the list of fixed expenses. Press equals, and then I'm picking these values from the previous table, but now I'm putting these values inside the timeline. So now we are done with that, but we need to start this time these expenses from March 2022, because the operating activity starts from March 2022. So I need to start these expenses. We have a timeline table where we have this specific line. So 0 means that we don't have operating activity at this moment, and 1 means that we do have an operating activity at this moment. So if we move the project start with from March to April, so all the data will be displaced, and we need to put these fixed expenses from April. So we can see how these expenses displaced from left to the right starting from April, and now we have to do the same for fixed expenses. So I'm copying the timeline. Well, I can copy the whole table. And now I'm just taking the value from the previous table and multiply it on the line that we just underlined. On this line I'm freezing the line inside this formula, then press enter, and now we will be able to see how all these fixed expenses starting from the right month. Here it is. So what is valuable? So I'm coloring it with red because these group of lines will go to the cash flow statement later. So what is valuable? First of all, we have a seasonality of fixed expenses put in our model, so we can see how seasonality and fixed expenses affect the profits, revenues, and so on, profitability, simple discounted payback periods. So this is very important. And we also can for example, we can switch off different articles, see how the project will operate with these expenses, and so on. So we can easily play with data without making mistakes. So this is very valuable when your financial model is done. For example, then we want suddenly start operating activity from July 2022. We just go here, choose July, and then Microsoft Excel starts from July. So and everything starts from July. So you won't be able to retype your inputs without making mistakes, because when you do something manually. So here you can see July, revenue starting from July, direct expenses starting from July, advertising campaign starting from July, different direct expenses on marketing and advertising starting from July. So all the projects starts from July. So direct payroll starts from July, stable payroll starts with July, direct expenses depending on how much customers you have also start from July, and fixed expenses final values also start from July. So this is very valuable when you start creating scenarios, displacing the data from left to the right. You don't have to manually retype the data, creating mistakes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe this video was valuable for you. You may give us a like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. You can also order financial models from scratch for your unique business ideas. We can help you with that. So see you guys in next videos. Thank you and bye.